This is Henry Chamberlain. Welcome to another edition of Comics Grinder. I present to you cartoonist illustrator Jonathan Hill. Northwest College of Art, and that is what we're going to be focusing on, and we're going to be focusing on Jonathan's Unversed Anthology. So I take it away, Jonathan. Tell us about Unversed.
So Unversed started in 2017. I basically was allowed to teach an advanced section of my graphic novel class, and I didn't really know what I was going to do. I know that I wanted to focus on slightly longer stories because in my intro class we focus on short stories so that they can just get practice telling stories beginning, middle, and end. But then I saw the roster of who was in this class, and it was basically like an all-star group of people that I had taught the last couple of years. And so I came to them the first day and I had this crazy idea, and I was like, do you want to make a book? Like, let's make a book, let's make an anthology, let's kickstart it, and let's just do it all on our own, and like, let's just learn that process together. And should I grab? And so, so this was our first book, and this was published in 2017. Again, everything we did was the ground up in that class, and it was pretty successful. I'm really happy with that. I did it again last year. That book was called No Refunds. This wasn't just the students in that class, but I also asked students that had done Unversed to come in and do that. And so so we're doing it one more, despite my better judgment, we're doing it one last time. And instead of just asking folks that had worked in the Unversed community or whatever, I reached out and asked a bunch of alumni that I had worked with in the comics class that were just really, really good storytellers. And so we actually have 40 cartoonists in this new book, and it clocks in at about 576 pages. And so the Kickstarter is about halfway over this week. So we're about halfway there, so we still have about half to go, but I'm pretty excited.
Okay, so still some work to be done there. Yeah. And now I got to talk to you a little bit about what's up ahead. Now, it just came out, Wild Weather. Tell us a little bit about Wild Weather with First Second.
So Wild Weather was, it was a reunion of sorts, because M.K. Reed, who wrote Americus, and who I've become very good friends with, she wrote that. And so it's part of First Second's acclaimed science comics series, and this basically deals with weather and climate change and meteorology and just sort of how they're all interconnected. And I mean, when you stop and think about it, I mean, literally in this week, I think I read in the news, there are 7 tornadoes happening in Colorado. Like, it probably is one of the most important topics of our day.
Yeah.
And just seeing how, weather and climate are affected by us. And I think, in one of the discussions with MK, she was talking about how it was really hard for her to not, I guess they wanted her to rein it in a little bit and not make it doom and gloom. But literally, as she was writing that was when those 3 hurricanes hit, the Gulf at the same time, and it was like, she was kind of like, well, yeah, I understand that, but also I think it's important to, show the urgency at which we need to approach this subject matter.
Yeah. Well, tell us about The Searchers. That's your first solo graphic novel.
Yeah, so I am working on a book for Oni Press right now called The Searchers, and so that was a story that was kind of brewing in me for a long time, and it's basically about these three kids whose mother has left them, and during the I haven't had to pitch it in a long time, but it's a post-apocalyptic story of 3 siblings searching for their estranged mother. That's the elevator pitch. But the basic idea of it is my sister-in-law got divorced a couple of years ago, and it made me think about what it was like to have your family split and all these questions that get asked and how you want to go looking for answers that you can't really find. And so that's what it is about. It's about sort of the bond of siblings trying to search for their mother, but then against the backdrop of the fun sort of post-apocalyptic setting. So yeah, I'm excited. It's my first book that I've written and drawn, and I keep telling MK that I don't have the excuse of being like, oh, the writer, because now when there's pages and pages of people just sitting around talking, it's my fault. So, but it's fun. I'm really excited. I'm about 2/3 of the way done. I'm hope to be done, hopefully by the end of the year, if not early 2020, and then it'll either be published, I imagine, fall or spring 2020 or 2021.
Okay, very exciting. And could you, for people that might be new to you, could you give us a little recap of Americas?
Yeah, and so Americus was in 2011. Well, that was like so long ago. And that is a story about, it's another YA graphic novel. It's a coming of age story of Neil Barton, who grows up in a small town in Oklahoma, and he is entering high school, and his favorite book series, the Apathia Ravenchild series, is being challenged in the library. And so he sort of learns to come into his own, standing up for this thing that he loves. And it's interspersed with, like, whenever anybody is reading the fantasy series, we drew sections of the fantasy series. So it's kind of like two stories, and they're combined, kind of two stories coming together. So it's really, something nice about it is it's really popular around Banned Books Week. Librarians love it because it really is just about free speech and, championing libraries and librarians and stuff like that.
Okay, before we close that, we'll just go back to Unversed, and just everyone just put that on your radar.
Yeah, so if you can, our Kickstarter is launching now. It ends on June 7th, and this is a little preview book of some of the amazing work that will be in it. And I'm sure Henry will have a link up on this website. But please support it. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much, Jonathan.
Thank you.